I'm Kenneth Witt, and welcome to Gundog Nation. Gundog Nation is much more than a podcast. It's a movement to build a community of people around the world that like to watch a well-trained dog do what it's bred to do. Also, we want to get our youth involved into the sport of gun dogs, whether it be hunting, sport, or competition. We want to build a community of people united to preserve our gun dog heritage and to be better gun dog owners. Tune in to each weekly episode and learn about training, dog health, wellness, and nutrition. We will also offer tips for hunting with dogs and for competition, hunt tests, field trials, and other dog sports that involve gun dogs. Please go to our website, gundognation.com, and subscribe to our email list. We will keep you informed weekly with podcasts that are coming out. We also will be providing newsletters with training tips and health tips for your dog. You can also go to patreon.com/gundognation and become a member. There's different levels of membership on there. Just go check that out. Also, we'd like to thank Sean Brock for providing the music for this show. The introduction and the outro is Sean Brock. He played everything on there except the banjo by Scott Vestal and the dobro by Jerry Douglas. Sean is a neighbor of mine from over in Harlan, Kentucky. I'm just across the mountain in Hyden, Kentucky, and he's a super talented guy. But most of all, I want you guys to check out the Creekers. They are also from Hyden, Kentucky, and this is an up-and-coming bluegrass and country band, and these guys are hot. They're all over TikTok and YouTube. You will hear these guys because in a year or so, they will be on the radio. They are very talented. Their videos are going viral on the net. These boys are family. Two of the lead singers, one grew up with my daughters, and the other one is my cousin's son, so he's family. But check them out. Check out the Creekers. Also, last but not least, if you want to buy a hat, koozie, t-shirt, or even gun dog supplies, go to shopgundognation.com and you can purchase any of those items. Thank you so much for listening. It's a privilege to have people that want to put up with me talking about dogs all the time. I actually enjoy what I do, and I'm so glad to have this opportunity, and thank you. All right, welcome back to Gundog Nation. It's Kenneth Witt today, coming to you from Fort McCavitt, Texas, at the ranch. And man, I've been really wanting this guy on for a long time. I'm a huge fan of his. I listen to all his podcasts. But anyway, he doesn't need an introduction, but we're still going to do it. Bob Owens with Lone Duck Gundog Chronicles. Introduce yourself, please, sir.
What's up, man? Thank you so much for having me on. I appreciate it. Bob Owens. I'm a professional retriever trainer hailing from the great state of New York, the good section. We spent our summer, spring, summer, fall up here, training dogs, running hunt tests and field trials, hunting, family time. And then we go down South Carolina to train dogs in the wintertime. Last winter we had 7 feet of snow, so can't do my job in that. Built a company around what we refer to as the unspoken bond. I mean, it was years and years and years ago as a t-shirt and hat company, building a community about making memories with you and your dog, training the dog yourself, building the dog, and going and hunting, and all those memories you guys are going to make in that dog's life. That's the unspoken bond. With that being said, it kind of spiraled into, I guess I'm doing it for a living, trained with a guy for a while and learned and grew and developed. And now I hang my shingle as a retriever trainer, but we still sell everything under the sun that you need to train your dog. Online force fetch course, YouTube, Instagram, all ways to share what I've learned and built and trained and problems and solving, and share it with people so that they can do it themselves, so that they can share the passion with their dog.
Bob, something that, people that know you're a genuine guy and a dog trainer and the real deal. You hunt, you do it all. And I may have listeners that haven't listened to you before, but I just want to say this, man. I worked up I'm a landman. That's what I did after I got tired of being an attorney. And I was working up in New York. Almost New York. I was working in Pennsylvania and for Shell Oil, and we were leasing all along the New York border there just south of Elmira.
Yeah.
And growing up in rural southeast Kentucky, I just thought New York was New York, right? Like New York City. Yeah. Man, I had no idea how country, rural, redneck, and I'm saying that in a polite way because I'm a redneck. Yeah. But man, when I crossed the line, I was over in Elmira and some of those areas. I mean, and it's so funny because right when all that was going on, Brantley Gilbert came out with a song called "Country Must Be Countrywide." He was talking about, being up north and realizing, hey, man, there's some country dudes here in the New York state, but it's a beautiful state outside of the city. And man, it's just this country. I've got a buddy here in Midland that I'm not in Midland today, but that's in the oil and gas industry with me that I hunt with a lot, bird hunt with a lot, and he's from Buffalo. And it's just amazing. People don't realize, hey, man, New York's a lot more than New York City.
Yeah. I mean, it's called the Empire State, right? And it's not because of New York City. It's because you can find everything here, right? We've got the Great Lakes. We've got wonderful wine country in the Finger Lakes. The Finger Lakes region is phenomenal duck hunting. So all these birds from Ontario come down and the glaciers formed the Finger Lakes, which ended up becoming amazing wine country. We've got the Adirondacks, which is a mountain range and don't quote me on this, but it's like one of the biggest national parks or state parks or whatever it is, but you can hike mountains and be in like snow-capped mountains like Colorado. I mean, it's gorgeous. Offers a lot to people. There's more corn and cows. It's fantastic. Great dog training, great hunting, cool place. Taxes suck, and that's about it.
Yeah, that's the taxes is what it's such a beautiful state, and I was in the Army. You got the 10th Mountain Division up there, man. Those guys are hardcore. That's a real deal.
Yeah,
but no, it's a beautiful state. I just think people, if you've never been up that direction, man, I'd advise it. It's really nice and beautiful in the fall.
Yeah. Oh yeah. Yeah, absolutely. Prime duck, prime grouse. Let's go.
Well, Bob, when I get guys like you on here, I'm an amateur trainer. I've got experience, just kind of a general experience in lots of different breeds. But I want to pick your brain. I know you're a retriever guy and you're competitive in the retriever world. You hunt with retrievers. But Bob, you train other breeds, right? Also at your place?
Well, years and years ago I did, right? Okay. And this is everybody who writes in and says, I'm thinking of hanging a shingle and becoming a dog trainer, retriever trainer, duck dog, whatever. There were many, many years of eating peanut butter and jelly sandwiches where I didn't have a pot to piss in. And so back then, yes, if the check cleared, I trained it, was my saying. Okay. What you got? You got a golden doodle you want to go pheasant hunt with? If the check clears, I'll train it. And so all kidding aside, yeah, I mean, I own 2 English setters. I love to grouse and woodcock hunt with them. I've trained NAVDA dogs and got a couple prize one utility dogs and the NA prize one.
Oh, wow. Wow.
I've done all that, but currently at this stage of my career where I can be a little picky and choosy, we're looking for really good duck dogs and or people that want to run competitions and stay for the long haul and build them bad to the bone dogs. So master hunters, master national, Qs. I have ran a few opens, but I've been unsuccessful. So I am not the guy to say, hey, if I want to run an open, I'm not the guy. But we've done all right in the Qs and the master tests, and that's kind of more my wheelhouse where I can speak to it and feel educated and good about it. The other stuff is like, nah, I'm still getting my teeth kicked in, so hang with me.
Now, Bob, you run HRC also?
Used to in the past. It's not super prevalent up north.
Okay.
And quite frankly, I'm already gone too much, man. And people ask me all the time, why don't I do both? It's because there's only 52 weekends in a year. And if I'm gone 15, 20 of them, I don't feel like making it 30. So, and then I travel south for the winter away from family and friends. Like, it's just not what I want to add to my plate. It's a great organization. One of my favorite things that HRC did was I don't even know if they still do it, but the tailgates, right? The community hangs out at the tailgates after the ribbon ceremony and eats and kids. And that was my favorite part about HRC. So I do have love for it, appreciate it. It's a great game to play. But when I have to make a decision for both business and life, I'm going to stick to being an AKC hunt test guy and then go dabble in the Qs when I have time.
Nice. Now, Bob, do you do any SRS stuff?
Funny that you asked that too. I had a decision to make, and still I'm wavering, but I have one free weekend. All of July is booked. all of August is booked, but I have one weekend where I could take a weekend off, and there's an SRS about 2 hours away. And so I've ran one, I've judged one, I've seen it, I've watched The Crown year after year. It's an amazing sport, or part of our sport. It's cool. Anything in the kitchen sink can be thrown at you and your dog, and how you both handle it is a true testament. So I can speak to it a little bit, but no, I would, leave that to Clark, leave that to Carter, leave it to Lyle, leave it to Steven. Those guys just go there and hammer down on it. My buddy Michael Demmer, who else? But there's like 6 or 7. Justin Herger, like those guys are the hammers. I'm the nail.
Yeah, it's I've watched those guys train for it. I know Rhodey does that, Clark and Luke, and I know those guys pretty good. And man, it's above my knowledge level and training level by a long shot.
Yeah,
but, and I'm not saying that to you. I'm just saying for me. Yeah. No,
I feel you, and there's there is a piece of me that feels the same way. It's like I'm not arrogant about it, right? Like I'm very comfortable in saying guys like Clark taking a 5-time grand dog that's qualified all age that has ran 12 SRSs and been in the top 4. How am I going to take my 2.5-year-old with 2 master passes and chalk it up? No, he's going to suck. He's going to get dropped. Now my 5 and 6-year-old dogs that are consistently placing in the top 4 at Qs or our QA2 with a Master National plate, now I feel like I got a fighting chance. Okay. I really do. And so, it'd be fun to go test your mettle. That's the whole part or whole point of doing what we do. You and your dog step into the line. Everybody's equal. What is the judge going to set up? Let it rip. But I know when I judged it, we set some butt kickers up where I'm like, good luck, boys. Have fun with it.
Yeah.
And you'd have one dog frog stomp it. Everybody else had a little tough time, but, they rack up a normal score. And then you'd have just a hammer come and just go, look at that, baby. I mean, so it's cool. It's an amazing, I think Miss Shannon Nardi, the woman in charge of the SRS, is a genius for building that sport. I would love to dabble in it more. And again, it kind of comes down to how many weekends do I got and how far do I want to travel and who's here at the kennel at the time that's ready for something like that. Kind of pick jack of all trades or master of none, or do you want to be able to go to hammer down at a Q and hammer down at master tests? And I don't know, but it is a blast. It's a cool sport.
Hello, this is Kenneth Witt with Gundog Nation. Many people quickly become frustrated and confused when training a retriever. Cornerstone Gundog Academy's online courses eliminate all the guesswork by giving you a proven training system that will help you train a dog that anyone will be proud to have in their blind. Learn where to start, what to do next, and what to do when problems arise. Visit cornerstonegundogacademy.com to learn how you can train your retriever. I have used this method myself. I have been through it a couple times with different dogs. I refer back to it lots of times when I'm trying to get dogs freshened back up for hunt test season. I highly recommend them. I have actually been a subscribed member of Cornerstone Gundog Academy since 2016, and I would suggest anyone use it. I highly recommend it. They have an app that you can get to on your phone. You can do it from your phone, your laptop. You can't get any more convenient than that. I've used it. It's proven and tried. And I know literally hundreds of people that have done the same thing that I've talked to. Visit cornerstonegundogacademy.com and learn how to train your own retriever. Hello, this is Kenneth Witt with Gundog Nation, and I've got to tell you guys about something that I've gotten hooked on lately. It's Faux-licious. These are gourmet instant pho and ramen bowls that actually taste like the real deal. When I'm out in the field all day and the last thing I want is to settle for bland camp food, Faux-licious is what I go to. It's authentic, the flavor, it's real ingredients, it's ready in just minutes. It's perfect for hunters, fishermen, or anyone on the go. And you can get them over 1,900 Walmarts nationwide, your local H-E-B here in Texas. Or you can just go online at faux-licious.com. Trust me, once you try it, you'll keep a few stocked in your bag, in your backpack, or for your next adventure. I just want to say this. I want to add this to this commercial because I know the owners of this company. They've hunted on my ranch. Joseph, he and I were actually met in Colorado on a hunting trip that was a real adventure. They are true hunters. They've hunted at the ranch, and I've hunted with them. And Anna, she is just amazing. She's the one that came up with this idea. They were both on Shark Tank. They are amazing people. So I love seeing people like this have a business. And I just had to say that in addition to the commercial because I really believe in the product and I believe in the people that made the product. Be sure and go to Folicious.com or go to Walmart or HEB and try their product. I promise you, you will like it. And Bob, I'm just learning more about the SRS just because it intrigues me. I'm obviously not there, but what I guess I just realized it was an eye opener and hanging around with some of those guys is, man, it takes years to get dogs ready for that. I mean, you're not just going to run down there with a really good 2-year-old.
Right.
And I didn't realize how much it took and how long.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, I think if you were to look at the SRS and look at week in, week out, and the Crown, and you were to add up all the top 4 finishers for both amateur and pro, and you averaged their age, average is probably 6, wow. 7.
Okay.
So they got some 10-year-olds that are running. They got some 4-year-olds that are running. And you're going to have that one outlier, 2.5, 3.5-year-old dog that, yeah, you just point them and shoot them and they're compliant. Clark made a comment one time on our podcast. The dogs have to be comfortable being uncomfortable. All right, I pointed you to jump over the canoe. Jump the damn canoe in one shot, not 5. No off of 4 birds splat in the hunt savvy section. No off of 4 birds splash in their face with 3 guys shooting guns and duck calling for 15 seconds. And no off of them and run a blind and then pick them all up clean. For an example, when I judged it last year, I had a personal experience in Missouri. We took, so on our podcast, we talk about Patreon, right? So there's a community of people that follow us and I coach them one-on-one and we offer hunts. So for a 3-day hunt, we'll hunt in the morning and we'll do a dog seminar in the afternoon. Well, we're in the pit, time to start shooting. And I look down and I don't have my whistle on me and I'm running a dog. I'm like, hey, you watch my dog, bud. I'm going to run to the truck, grab my whistle and come back. And guess what happened while I was running to the truck? They killed 3-4 birds, right? So now somebody else has to run your dog and pick those birds up and they got to pay attention and listen, right? So I couldn't do it perfectly like that scenario, but basically what we did is say, you're going to come out of the holding blind, put the dog in a mutt hut, a little ground blind. We had 3 dudes in a A-frame, goose call for 30 seconds. Everybody take them and everybody unload their guns and birds are falling everywhere in their face. Once all the birds hit the ground, you can come out from hiding and you can come and grab your dog and run them. Because you lost your whistle and had to go back to the truck, right? Yeah. And so a bunch of dogs were, in the mutt hut and owner would turn around and walk away or trainer would turn around and walk away and they'd pop out and look at them. 5 points, put them back in, right? So there was just like little ways that you could make it happen where, yeah, my dog wasn't allowed to leave the pit and follow me to the truck because they needed her. So we kind of added that into it and you just kind of think outside the box, like what could happen? Crippled bird. I was at one time, I think we were in Arkansas and I was like doing some social media for them and they threw a bird out and on a fishing line, reeled it in across the dog's face out of a boat, just reeled it in. They see this little ATV swimming past them. And then you got to go pick your marks up right through that area. It's like, how cool is that? And that dog's got to be cool, calm and collected, being comfortable in an uncomfortable situation and nothing can shock them. Nothing can phase them. They just got to go do their work when you point and shoot.
Wow. That takes a lot of training, right? I mean,
yeah. I don't have a single 2.5-year-old on my truck. Now they all passed the master test this weekend. Looked beautiful. Not a single one would have been able to do that. They'd have been like, "What? I'm a break."
Yeah, gone.
Gone, dude.
Now you brought up something I want to talk about too. So I actually joined as a Patreon on your program.
Thank you.
And I did it with the intention of, man, I want to go hunting on this hunt with y'all because you seem like a fun guy, and I think it'd be a fun trip.
Well, I appreciate that. Yeah.
So tell everybody how it works and what they want to do if they're interested in going on this trip with you.
Yeah.
Actually, I got a buddy that's gone, Kevin Wright, a good friend of mine.
Oh, he's an awesome dude. Yeah, he's been to both of. Yeah, he's been to both of my Patreon hunts. And I've been lucky enough to be on the journey with him and Mabel. Right, like I know the damn dog's name.
Yeah.
No, I don't remember everybody's dog name, but I remember Kevin's.
Yeah.
It's a community, man. I started Lone Duck before I knew what I was doing. I would interview trainers and I would put out articles that other trainers that knew what they were doing would help people so that they could do it themselves.
Yes.
And it's got to be close to 15 years ago. So long story short, Patreon is a place, it's a community where people can buy me a beer. If you ask me a question on Instagram, hey, I want my dog to walk better on lead. Hey, my dog keeps dropping the bumper bird at the edge of the water. Hey, makes noise in the blind. Hey, can't remember the double. Hey, how do I work on gun shyness? Whatever it is, if me and you were sitting in a bar and you asked me a question and I sat there and took my time and answered it for you, you go, you know what, let me buy the next round. I would do it if I was asking somebody about working out or eating healthy or tax help or, building a business or whatever. I'd be like, hey, let me get this round, bud. Thank you. So that's kind of what we started it with. And then it grew into now people can take videos of their dogs and say, this is where I'm at on force fetch. This is where I'm at on T-pattern. This is where I'm at running blinds. This is where I'm at. And we've had, some success stories where it was going through force fetch and now it's a master hunter, all because of the community we built on Patreon and just BSing, coaching people through it. Every other month we do like a Zoom meeting. So it'd be, this on Riverside, but if we're on Zoom, you'd have 30 little squares or 50 little squares of heads around and they can chat in going, dog broke at the senior test. Help me out. And when we get down the list, we answer that person's question. We can go one-on-one. Well, what happened? Well, that was the third dog it honored her. And we just coach. And so it's a cool way to give back to the community. It's a cool way to, in essence, enhance my business because it helps me. I help you, you help me. We have podcast equipment. I'm sitting in my podcast room and this stuff ain't free. You know that. And I'm not rolling dough, baby. I'm picking up dog poop and buying a pallet of dog food a month. So, buying me a beer just helps me help more people in a cool way. So, a couple years ago, if you were a Patreon member, we gave away a hunt, which turns out to be illegal on Patreon. But we didn't know this at the time. They have some rules about like building your community. Okay. We didn't know it at the time. So we did like a big giveaway. So I don't know, at the time, maybe 1,000 people were on it or whatever. And we spin this giant wheel on the Zoom meeting and you're seeing like all these names up on there. Boom. Dude, young guy from Georgia, had a Boykin, and he was like, I'm going to just throw out a number. He's probably 24, Army, was in the Army, and he won. So we took him on a sea duck hunt in Maryland and, put him at all expenses paid, cool trip to Maryland. And we got done with that trip. And my brother, Kevin, who's the other podcast host and producer and, kind of helps keep the ship pointing straight while I'm training dogs. We're sitting there afterwards reflecting on like, dude, this one kid had a blast. How do we make 12 people have a blast or 20 people have a blast? And so we found a guide in Missouri that had training grounds that we could use. And each day I could hunt with each group. So you got to hunt with me or you got to hunt with Kevin. And then at noon we broke, had lunch, and then trained dogs. So everybody from across the country, including Kevin Wright, gets to come and train from 1 o'clock till 5 o'clock and drink some beer and eat amazing food and shoot cool birds. And so that was cool. That was the first year. Second year, my dad goes, I really want to go. I'm like, hell yeah. So dad got to go on the second hunt, which was neat for him to experience because he'd never seen anything like it. He'd never even seen me do my, lone duck bob crap, where be me in front of 20 people that are strangers across the country. So it was really neat to share that with my dad. It's really great to share it with my brother. And, we killed, this year was kind of slow. We didn't kill a ton of birds, but we made the most of it. Everybody had a blast. And so prices went up, reached out to the community and said, we're going to have to put a lot down. And so long story short, we decided to take a year off. We're going to keep looking at other guides across the country that could house that number of people, as well as dogs, as well as training grounds. Like this last year, it was really cool. We did a pit blind training day. So like all the dogs got to learn how to work out of a pit blind and jump out and shoot, and bumpers and birds were going everywhere, and just kind of realistically train. And the day before, we did the blinds, we did the T pattern, we did the marks in the field and worked them. And so it's cool, man. It's been a phenomenal group of people that I'm lucky to help and be a part of their dog's journey. And we make memories. Like, I don't know, that's the unspoken bond. I'm not perfect. I there's parts of it that I think we could do better at, but when I look at it as when I was 24 or 23 with my first dog, boy, I wish I had Chris Aiken on a Zoom meeting once a month that I could ask him questions on, or Mike Lardy. And by I'm not putting myself in that category. I'm just saying, like, I bought their DVDs, I read their books, and I didn't have access to them. Now you get access to guys like Clark Kennington with the Hunt Test Guide. You got access to my Force Fetch course. You got access to me via Patreon. And if you have a question and a problem, I'm going to help you. It's going to cost you the price of a beer, but what the heck?
Yeah. No, I love that. When you guys would do that, Bob, what was the numbers that you try to shoot for that was on the trip?
So we had no idea, right? Like, we're putting this whole thing together. I got no clue how many. We might get one person say, yes, I want to go. Yeah. So the first year, I think we did a dozen.
Wow.
Patreoners. And then it was me, my brother, my buddy Dave, who was in the Army. And I get to see once a year. And then my brother's buddy Eric. So what is that? 12 and 4, 16 people. The next year we added, I think we were at 20. And so It was a pit. I think we did pits of 6 or 8, give or take, whatever the numbers work out. And so I got to hunt with everybody at least once. And then we did like a random drawing of it. And it was really cool because we kept the groups together. So this last year, we had too many people, air quotes, too many people where everybody just stayed in the same group. And then I bounced around and Kevin bounced around. And so the group 2, that was Kevin Wright's group 2. And we'd be drinking afterwards and they'd be like, group 2. And, over there, someone would go, group 2, and they became their own little community of, shooting and hooting and hollering who killed what birds and pumping each other up. And then what that fed into was pumping their dogs up and getting to know each other's dogs. And it's just, again, it's community. It's bringing people together from Minnesota to California to Tennessee. I mean, there were people from all over, all different walks of life, men and women. And we built a pretty cool little community. And so, and I'm proud of them, like in a weird way, like a dad way, where you're like, I'm proud of these people. Like, their dogs are coming back this year better. They're bringing like the new people who had never been to it. Because Kevin came twice, right? Yeah. And so another guy named Jeff, Kevin and Jeff are like the older men, if you will. And they've got a couple young women in their group, and they're like freaking amazing to them. And just, it's what you want. If I were to go on something like this, I'd want to feel community. I want to feel like brought in and not an outcast. And one dude from Michigan, he'd never even duck hunted before. He got to experience it and be like brought in and like, dude, you come on this way. Like, that's awesome.
Oh, wow. First time or
ever pulling the trigger on a duck.
That's good.
He's hunted other things.
I just got to tell you, I'm crushed. I was looking forward to doing this year. I was going to go.
Well, next year we're already in the works of putting it together for next year. It just, we looked at numbers, we looked at the cost for these, because we also don't want to, we're not raking anybody over the coals.
Right.
You know what I mean? And so when we looked at it, we're like, dude, that I couldn't afford that. If I wasn't going because it's for work, I'd say, you know what, it's just a lot. So we didn't want to do that. We got and they were great people. Like the guides were amazing. The food was amazing. The lodging, there was nothing wrong with anything. It's just price hiked, and I get it. Now we've got to kind of just shimmy and shake it so that people can do it. I don't want to put somebody in the hole to go kill ducks. I want it to be special for them. So we got to just play the game, and we'll make it happen again.
You know what, too? I've already seen that this year. There's some hunts that I do every year, and I'm already seeing some pretty significant price increases on the same hunts I've been doing for the last few years.
Yeah, I mean, it's life. I mean, I really believe that it's just going to be life. Groceries are up, gas is up. Leasing land probably went up. I mean, everything under the sun went up. And so I don't want to be the next one that says it's up. I'd rather say, hey, let's keep it relatively affordable for everybody. Still lodging, still all the meals included, shoot some ducks, train some dogs. I just don't want to. There's something about me that, like, I'm not afraid to charge a good bit of money, but I want you to walk away going, good Lord, that was the best weekend of my life.
Yes.
Hell yeah. I'll do it again next year. I don't want to go, we had fun. That's the worst. Don't do that.
Yeah. No, I agree. And that's if I were doing that, hosting that, I would feel the same way. I've got a high fence hunting ranch here, and I do hunts and charge for hunts. And man, I bend over backwards. I cook, and I try to cook well and cook good. And, because these people are paying to come here, and they're paying me for an experience. And I want them to leave thinking, man, that's some of the best food I ever eat. And we got to see some awesome animals, and we got to shoot what we want, and anyway, I get it.
Yeah. And I think that puts pressure on us too. Cause that was one comment my dad made, is like, from the minute Bob wakes up, I'm get my cup of coffee and I'm being asked a training question. And the minute I go to bed, we're drinking, having fun, but answering training questions. So my brain is on from 5 a.m. till 11 p.m. and then all day the next day. And he's like, that's got to be exhausting. I'm like, yeah, but Dad, these people came from all over to have this. And if I'm not being the best version of myself and giving them 120%, then I shouldn't do it.
Well, I think it's a heck of an idea, and I'm looking forward to your next one, because I love stuff like that. And Bob, this all too well. Some of the best friends I've made in Kentucky. I'm a Kentuckian, but I've been in Texas 13 years, and I've hunted everywhere. I've hunted in Canada, and some of the best friends I've got, I met hunting.
Yeah,
just
absolutely.
There's nothing like it. Is there?
Yeah, I guarantee you, if you ask Kevin right now the names of the people in group 2, he'd be able to rattle all of them off, and they still communicate. Like that's badass.
He's a huge fan of yours. He told me all about that. He's the one that got me wanting to do it, because I didn't know that you did that. And then Kevin's actually his folks are from Southeast Kentucky, right? I'm from Hyden, and the only thing that separates my county from Kevin's is Hazard, Kentucky. He's from Whitesburg. And of course he's in Tennessee, and I'm getting ready to move back to Middle Tennessee. So we have a lot in common. And then we both go to the Cornerstone weekends together. But he's a great guy. But he just went on and on about that hunt, man. He's a big fan of yours, a huge supporter, and he spreads the gospel.
Well, I appreciate it. I'm a big fan of him.
Yeah, he's a good dude. He is.
He's just a good dude.
I actually I think we've texted one day this week, but yeah, he talks to me about you. And anyway, it speaks to your character, man. I'm a pretty good judge of character, I think. And like I said, I got hooked on you listening to your podcast. And
thank you.
Actually, maybe people like you encourage me to get into podcasts, and I'm not good at anything but talking. So what the heck,
I hear you, dude. I hear you.
I have to find something, but no, man, I enjoy this. And for people that's out here, maybe just getting into gun dogs and they're listening to Bob's podcast or listening to mine, listen, this is a community that you'll love, and you'll find so much support from guys like Bob and friends like we're talking about Kevin Wright. And there's so many nice people, good people in this industry. Clark Kennington, that guy, I can text him and he'll text me back in a second. And I know he's busy. I hate to bother him. I hate to bother you. I know how busy you are. I hate to text you, but you always do. And that's what it's all about.
Yeah. Yeah, no doubt about it, man. I slept on Clark Kennington's couch when I was selling gear. Like, we're lucky. It's for me and Clark, I would say we live a tough life. Like there's part of my job, his job, that is glamorous via the social media or glamorous via the podcast. And, he gets to go hunt. Yeah. Oh yeah. Well, there's parts of it that from January or July 1st till September 1st, I don't have a weekend off, right? There's parts of it. And then, I got 2 podcasts a night. Like, boy, I could take a nap. There's things about it that I don't want to paint the picture of perfection. And we could equate that to dog training. You see a badass thing on YouTube, TikTok, Instagram of this dog smacking it. Well, it took a long time to get him to smack it. Or the mark before that, he couldn't find it in a paper bag. So it's a tough life. It's a good life. It's like being a farmer. You're always on, you're always working, you're always worrying.
Yes.
So it's cool though. But to your point, the community, we stick together. There's been plenty of examples of somebody's truck's dead on the road, and within a 2-hour radius of somebody who can come with their trailer, hook it up, and get those dogs safe and get that person back on their feet. Like countless times. It's happened to me, and it's happened vice versa, where I got to help that somebody else, like sleeping on couches and training. And dude, it's a great community to be involved in.
Well, you said something else too that just struck me is, I spent a few days with Clark from daylight to dark on his job, and just, he's kind of training me. I was just watching and learning really, but he was doing his thing, right? Training his X number of dogs that day, each day. And it was 98 and humid as heck. It was actually hotter there in Missouri where he's at than here in Texas. A few weeks ago. And you guys, man, it's no easy. If you're out in all weather conditions, rain, sleet, or snow, and it's not an easy job being a pro trainer. You guys earn your money.
Yeah, for sure, dude. Yeah, for sure. And it's a hard business to you're a business person. It's hard business to scale, right? Like you can train a boatload of dogs and you make an okay living once you get to that point, but it's hard to scale. It's hard to get above the grain or whatever you want to call it. But you just have to keep plugging away, and you don't do it because of the money. You do it because you enjoy it. And if you're doing it for the money, it's probably not going to work out. You might get real good at it. Your dogs might be good, but you got to do it because you enjoy going out every day and monkeying with dogs and getting them better and dealing with the frustration, dealing with dogs that get sick, dealing with things that break, dealing with clients that text you at 11 p.m. on a Sunday, all that stuff. But it's good.
Purina Pro Plan. Here at Gundog Nation, we use Purina Pro Plan for our dogs. We actually use the Sport Performance Edition, which is 30% protein and 20% fat, the beef and bison. It contains glucosamine, omega-3s for their joints. It also contains amino acids for muscles and antioxidants. And it also has probiotics. It's guaranteed to have live probiotics in each serving. There's no artificial colors or flavors. We see the difference in our dogs. We see the difference in their coat, their performance, their endurance, and also in recovery. Be sure to use Purina Pro Plan dog food. The reputation speaks for itself. There's a reason that Purina has been around for such a long time. We suggest that you use it, and we are so proud to be sponsored by Purina Dog Food. Hello, this is Kenneth Witt, and Gundog Nation is proud to have one of their sponsors as Retriever Training Supply, based in Alabama. Retriever Training Supply offers fast shipping on quality gear. Your dog will love it. Visit retrievertrainingsupply.com to purchase gear to help you train your retriever. Listen, they have some of the best leashes I've ever found. It's stuff's made in America. Their leashes are, and they source them locally. They have anything you want, fast, friendly service, fast shipping, just good people. Retriever Training Supply. No, Bob, you said something. You touched on this earlier when we first started, but I always think it's really neat. I love everyone's story, how they got into this, and you dabbled on it. But tell the listeners, you have a really neat story and how you got into the dog business and got to where you are.
Sure. So, long story short, I played college rugby, and during college, even as a youngster, I mean, I read every book, every DVD that I could get my hands on training a duck dog. And so, shows, if you're in my age bracket, you remember DU's Water Dog TV with Justin Tackett and Yella. You remember Mike Stewart on DU TV with Drake and Deke. You remember the dogs and the people, and the relationships that they had, the memories, the retrieves, the cool stuff with dogs. And so that's how I grew up. I mean, I read every book, and I don't read, by the way, folks. I don't remember the last book I read, but I read dog books. I read dog training books, retriever training books. I read Cesar Millan's books. I read everything under the sun on how to make a dog great, and the DVDs that came out, the Lardys, the Evan Grahams, the everything. And so before I even had a dog, I was a college meathead playing rugby and went over to Ireland. And, I was like, I loved playing rugby, but you get hurt and you get sent home. So I got a job and I was selling copiers, and it sucked. So I'm playing high level elite rugby.
I can't imagine that, Bob.
It was miserable, right? Elite rugby, bad to the bone. You're kind of 22-year-old, shit don't stink. And then you come home and you're slinging Xerox. I'm like, man, this sucks. But my first paycheck, I bought a yellow Labrador named Buck. And
priorities.
Yeah, hell yeah, priorities. Student loans, they can wait.
Yeah.
So I was living at home, called my mom on Mother's Day. I'll never forget it. Mother's Day. She and my dad are on a vacation. She's out on the beach. I go, hey, Ma, you love me? She's like, yeah, I love you so much. I'm like, yeah, I love you too. Listen, there's a puppy. And the first piece of advice I tell people is don't buy dogs out of the newspaper, right? Don't buy them off Craigslist, do your research. But I know my research. I mean, I was well-versed in the world. But in the dang Syracuse Post Standard is GR, 4-time or 7-time GRHRCH MH by MH. And I'm like, for real? Like in the paper? So I call them up, and their names are Greg and Nancy Mills. And they train, if anybody knows anybody, right? So I'll name drop for a second, but Mandy Solinsky and Alan, I can't remember Alan's name off the top of my head, but they're Gator Point retrievers down in Mississippi, I think. Greg and Nancy are best friends with them. These people know what they're doing. And so now that I'm here in New York doing my thing, Greg and Nancy are in their late 70s, still running master tests, still got dogs. Like they become part of my family. But I call this lady up and she's like, oh yeah, honey. Yep. The dad's a 7-time Grand Hunting Retriever champion. And, the puppies go home Mother's Day. I'm like, hell yeah. You got some boys available? Yep. I got 2 boys available, or 3. Who knows what the number was. So I call my mom. I'm like, listen, I know you're on vacation. I know I live at home. Do you love me? Can I go and get him? She's like, yeah, honey, go and get the dog. So my sister and I drove up about 2 hours north of me, and we go get this little puppy named Buck. And honest to God, the rest was history. I basically made life choices that have helped and hurt me because of Buck and the memories we made. And, you know, from copiers, I sold insurance, and during the insurance time frame, I got to meet some entrepreneurs. And I always thought being a business owner, you had to be a genius. You know, I had them on a pedestal. I'm a knuckle dragging rugby player who barely got by in college and did it because my parents wanted me to graduate college. So I'm thinking all these people who own their businesses, like, they're got to be smart. And then you meet them and they have teams around them and they have great stories of like sleeping on couches and, you know, eating peanut butter and jelly sandwiches. And all of a sudden their roofing company took off, or their trucking company took off, or their painting bit, or you name it. They just, you sit with them long enough, you're like, damn, you're just like me. So I asked a few of them, like, what would you give me advice on? And they'd say, well, what do you want to do? I'm like, I want to be in the outdoor industry. I want to be the Justin Tackett's and Yellas. I want to be not important to people, but I want to be special. I want to have goals and achieve them like I did in rugby. Like, I don't have that slinging insurance. And so they're like, well, figure it out, bud. And so just like anybody with $100 in their pocket, I made hats and t-shirts. And I learned that it's really difficult to make a living slinging hats and t-shirts. So then I get hooked up with e-collar companies and winger companies and made American-made leather leashes that were amazing. And, you know, whatever you needed, we sold. And then at that point, Facebook became more, you know, like advertising and companies using it versus college kids. And I got lucky. I made a Gundog of the month deal. So you sent me a picture of your dog with like dog's name, your name, where you're from, picture. Wow. And I went on Facebook and I would have hundreds of people submitting it. And then what they would do is, hey, you know, Buck is on Lone Duck's Gundog of the month. So they'd share it and all their family and friends would share it. And every hunting buddy would share it. So all of a sudden Facebook took off. And I would make a little bit of money and I'd send them a hat and you'd have your website and, you know, I'd sell some gear. So that's when I bought, like, you start making a baby bit of money. So you reinvest in your business. So I buy a POS trailer, enclosed trailer, and I start loading it with gear and I start driving. And great guy in Georgia, my buddy Joe, come on down, bub. We're going to be in Alabama at an HRC test. You can set your gear up there. All right. So I drove from New York to Alabama, slept on the side of the road in a tent, and sold gear that weekend. Made like $600. But people were starting to hear about Lone Duck. And from there, it went, you know, all the way up and down the East Coast and Midwest, and, you know, take a week vacation. And I would sell gear Saturday and Sunday to hunt test, sleep on somebody's couch and train with them during the week, sell Saturday, Sunday, and then drive all night home and go to work slinging whatever the heck I was selling on Monday. And that's how it started. And that's when I got the opportunity, I think 12 or 13 years ago, to quit my job, sell gear, and train dogs full time. So I did it and haven't looked back.
Impressive. I like that.
Yeah.
Now that gun dog of the month, you didn't get that off the Playmate of the month thing, did you?
Oh man, I wish I did.
No, man, I love that. That's genius. Well, I'm glad you came to where you are, and you've definitely it's well-deserved success.
I appreciate it. It's just being, honestly, I think it's just being young and dumb.
Yeah,
if somebody asked me now, I'd be like, Dad, dude, you ain't gonna make crap off of selling hats. You're gonna make $4 a hat, $8 a hat. You know how many hats you got to sell to pay rent? A lot of hats.
You know, Bob, I had a guy on here, another person I respect a lot, a trainer out of England, Ben Randall, and he was a rugby player in England.
Hell yeah!
I don't know if you heard of him.
No, but I want to be his best friend.
You need to reach out. He's actually got an app called Gundog, and he has training stuff. He has a book. Actually, I've got it here behind this backdrop on my table. It's some neat hunting methods. Anyway, yeah, check him out. And when he did a podcast with me on here, it was one of the top downloads.
Cool.
And people were messaging me wanting that book and stuff, but you and him had headed off. His sons play rugby now, I think, in college.
That's awesome.
So
Yeah,
I'll put you two together. And then I got to tell everybody, because you brought this up, but man, I really, really enjoyed, and I sent you a screenshot, that podcast with Mike Stewart.
Thank you.
That was excellent. I don't know that I've ever heard him on a podcast before.
You know, this is to be fair. Like, I do this, eat, sleep, and breathe it, wake up every morning thinking about dog training. So, you know, the only podcast in our world that I listen to is Jimmy and Adam's Doghouse. And that's maybe once in a great while, because I'd rather, if I'm listening to a podcast, I'd rather zone out, listen to Joe Rogan with his buddies laughing. Like, so I don't know if he has, but I can tell you everything in sincerity. Mike's a gentleman. And those were the days, if you remember the conversation, I made a comment to him of like, we have met before. You allowed me to come to Wild Rose and interview you, a 25 or 6-year-old knucklehead, which all my equipment didn't work. I didn't know what I was doing. And he sat with me and was patient and gave me a tour. And it's like, dude, if a kid asked me right now, I'd be like, man, dude, I don't have time. Like, I'm drowning in my own stuff. And I get it. But he was drowning in his stuff, I'm sure. But he said yes. And I'll never forget it. And he was the most kind. And I think when people listen, I'll be blatant with everybody. Mike's a phenomenal businessman, and he's a marketing genius, and their dogs are great dogs, but they're no better than anybody else's dogs. They're great dogs, but there's great dogs everywhere, whether they're British, American, English, Cocker Spaniels, you name it. They're all good.
Yeah.
But he was able to transcend it. And I respect the hell out of it. And he's humble and he's kind. And a lot of his methods are, you know, there's shortcomings, like American training versus British training. There's shortcomings to both. Yeah. None is right and none is wrong, or neither is right, neither is wrong. What I respect is he's a great dude.
Yeah.
That's what it's all about. Like, I just thoroughly enjoyed spending time with him in that hour or whatever it was, of just, what a cool guy. You know, retired cop. My dad was a cop. You know, just, he had everything that hit the metal of like, I like this guy and I support him in everything he does. And whether you think British Labs are BS or not, I don't really give a crap what your opinion is. He's a good dude. Or, you know, I force fetch, they don't. That doesn't make him wrong and me right. He's a good dude.
See, I'm like that. I have British and American dogs, and I'm like you, Bob. I don't get into this versus that and all that stuff. Whatever works for you and whatever works for your dog, go for it. You know,
that's right.
I tell you something I respect about him too, and he obviously must be humble because he never mentioned it on your podcast, but the man was on the cover of Forbes magazine twice. And the first time was during a recession in the United States when no one was making money.
Yeah.
And so, and you know more about that than me.
I'm not on the cover of Forbes. You know what I mean? He's smart and he's good, and you shouldn't dislike him because he was successful. And I think people that would give him gripe is because they're jealous of his success.
Yes.
And I won't say any more names, but like, there are other people in our industry that have reached a certain level of success that people crap on. And at the end of the day, is it because you don't have it? Is it because your dogs aren't that good? Is it because, what is it that you have a gripe with someone you don't even know? You never sat down and had a beer with. You never sat down and had an hour conversation with. And I've been at fault of that too, where you think Jimmy, well, I shouldn't say Jimmy because Jimmy Rogers, but Tim the Toolman Taylor over here, the dog trainer, you're jealous of and think he's a jerk. Well, buy him a beer and tell me after an hour if you still think he is. Because if he is, fine, write it off. But don't think he is because he's been successful or you see him on social media and you're jealous, because that's crap. Sit down and talk with him and learn about his life and things that he's dealt with his family and overcome. And then all of a sudden you can go, you know what? That dude's no different than me and you putting our pants on 1 foot at a time.
I agree with that, Bob. And the older I get, the more I'm even more forgiving in that sense and not trying to be judgmental off the bat, which I've been guilty of in my younger years, especially. But,
Yeah, I get it.
to me, seeing a guy how many people that's been on the covers of Forbes magazine can we relate to? None. Probably, right? Not me. And I've been a business guy, but I just think it's awesome that a guy in the Gundog world and the hunting world was on the cover of something like that. And again, there's other folks that have reached that level, I guess, in some sense. I don't know their finances. It's none of my business. And I've even had some folks like that on this podcast, and they get criticized so hard. And we need to all just listen, man. We're
not against each other. We're together.
That's right. We're the few and the proud. And we need to stick together. And if you look at countries outside the United States, I was in politics for years back home, and I don't like to talk about politics on the show. But however, if you don't think that it can happen here, that, e-collars are banned, hunting dogs are banned, hunting on whatever that might be, you look at these other countries and see the rules and how strict and what's been taken away. Don't think it can't happen here. And if we don't stick together and support each other, who's going to?
That's right.
Yeah.
That would be my only gripe. And I've had the debates, and I've talked with the Bartons and the Jeremy Moores, and love those dudes. Yeah. Love them.
Yeah, me too.
But that's my debate. You can want it or not. You can like it or not like it. Don't push the pedal down too hard that now we don't have it.
Yeah.
Right? Like, whether you agree or don't agree on gun rights, don't push the pedal too hard or we won't have them. Don't, whatever it is, just, I don't know. Anywho, let's, you want to get into a little dog training stuff?
Yes, sir. Yes.
Let's do it. I'm giddy up and go.
All right. Now, you do seminars. I think you do seminars a lot with Standing Stone. Let's talk about that, Bob. And if someone wants to come to your all seminars, what do they do?
Yeah. Again, I feel like it's one of those things where we build an experience, because it's not just about learning about dogs. It's the entire day from sun up to sundown. So Ethan and Kat from Standing Stone Kennels, they're German short hair folks out of Kansas, and they become great friends of mine. So I think we're on this last year was maybe the fourth one. I don't know, fourth or fifth. But we've done a seminar once a year, one at their house in Kansas, one at my house here in New York. And it's about the versatility, right? So for the German short-haired crew that are doing NAVDA, they also need to be really good at retrieving, and that's where I come in. Okay. And there's some things that retrievers can learn from what they're learning from or teaching. So we mold it together, and we create a really fun time around it. So all the food's included. We cook badass meals, and or lately we've been taking people to like hot spots that are local to here that are close, where we'll grab drinks, we'll grab appetizers, and then on a Saturday night, it's bonfire and beers and food and tons of fun. Again, you're building a community. You're making it more than just about the dogs, and you're talking about everything and you're answering questions. But realistically, all we're trying to do is help people with their dogs. And so we do that every year. This next year, so 2026, we'll be here in New York. We call it the Lone Stone Seminar. And so it's Friday night. We'll get together for a happy hour and get to know everybody. Saturday morning, crack of dawn, we're rolling out training dogs. Saturday night is bonfire at my house, and we're having beers and having fun, playing games, winning prizes from sponsors and stuff like that. And then Sunday is all day, let her rip, keep training. I get asked to do seminars for other, retriever clubs. And so this year we did Idaho, New Jersey. I did a local one here in New York. I think I did one more, but I don't remember anymore. And so, I get to do a weekend away where I just focus on helping people. And it's cool because I don't know all the answers, but I also don't know all the answers if I don't get to sit there and look at the dog and look at you and slow you down, speed you up, ease back, push in, whatever it is, what the feel is of the moment. That's what I can coach on. And so it's pretty cool. It's a neat experience to coach people. And I usually lead up to the seminar going, good Lord, I don't have time to do this. And I leave the seminar going, good Lord, I'm so glad I did it, because it's reinvigorating to be around people that love their dogs and are busting their hump, trying to make them better, and are sponges and just want to be there and be around you and learn. And so it's a really cool thing. Next year, I don't know how many I'll do, but I would say if you want to, you follow Lone Duck and on the Instagrams, and join the Patreon page, and that's where we announce all our stuff to be up to date on helping people out. That's kind of all it is.
When you're getting ready to go on your next hunting trip, make sure you pack the most efficient and reliable ammunition on the market. Migra Ammunition brings you the most diverse loads on the market. Migra's patented stacked load technology is the epitome of efficiency. 2 shot sizes stacked together to create the most diverse and efficient line of shot shells in the industry. It doesn't matter what flyway, what state, or what the weather, the standard remains the same. At Migra, reliable loads that perform in any condition every single time. We're proud to have Migra Ammunition as a sponsor for Gundog Nation. Again, because I listen to all your podcasts, I got to touch on the Argentina trip, man. I wanted to do that. I actually was booked for one in COVID and it got canceled. Yeah. So that sounded like a blast.
It was a blast. Yeah, that was a bucket list thing that I never thought I'd be able to be lucky enough to go and do. And, I raised my hand at the right/wrong time during a bid to help my buddy who was running the event try and draw numbers up. And lo and behold, I won/lost. And I'm sitting across the table from Ethan, and I'm like, well, you're going, and my brother's going, and me and Ethan's mutual friend / client of mine, Peter, like, he's going. Well, then it expanded to wives and actually Ethan's uncle, Uncle Rich is the man. Ton of fun, great dude. So we all went down to Argentina. I think the thing, we did a 2-part podcast with Ethan, Kat, Kevin, and me. And the first part was like telling great stories about the hunt. And the second part was actually like breaking down logistics. Like, do you and your buds want to go on an Argentina hunt? And my biggest takeaway is it's actually affordable. So like I put it on this pedestal of I'll never get to go to Argentina because I'm not rich. All the people I know that go to Argentina are rich.
Yeah. The ones I know.
Really. Yeah. But in the grand scheme of life, now I guess if you're making $12 an hour, yeah, it might be a stretch. But if you're a normal human in that middle class and you prioritize it over maybe a 2-year span, it's ridiculously affordable. Yeah. I paid, I don't care. I paid $3,000 for the hunt at Quail Forever. It's normally, I want to say $2,900 per person to go. So these numbers will change and whatever, but if you're tuning in, so I got 4 spots to hunt for $3,000. Now let's say me, you, and 2 other people are sitting at that same banquet and go, let's go in at 4 ways. Now it's $750 a guy.
Yeah. Wow.
That's doable. That's so doable. So boom, throw it down, raise your hand. Then our flights weren't terrible. I want to say like $800-900 a person. So, okay, now if you really did it for $750 a person plus $800, you're in at I'm not a math guy, but about $1,500. Yeah. Then I want to say maybe $300 a person for like transportation. So that person is going to stand there with the sign and he's going to take you where you are safely belonging. Yeah. $300 divided by 4 dudes. Not bad. Then tips. I think we paid, $400 in tips. Okay. Like realistically, it's under $4,000 per person. If you get lucky to hit it like this, $4,000 in 2 years of planning is doable. Maybe not for everybody, but it just, to me, I had on the pedestal of like, I'll never get to afford a $7,000 hunt for 3 days. That just seems like ridiculous. No, it's not. It's not that much. And we went to a place where we had 5-star meals, as much wine and beer as you wanted, as much appetizers, as much fun and shooting, everything under the sun you wanted to do and experience.
Yeah.
We got to do it. And we never skimped on anything. And everybody walked away going, boy, that wasn't that bad financially. It really wasn't. And, I think it's something that, again, I'll say it for the third time. I had it on a pedestal. I had it that I'll never get to go to Argentina because only rich people get to go. Well, I can tell you right now, I'm not rich. And over a 2-year span of me bidding on it and us going, we were able to block it off and save for it and block it off and save for it to where at the end of the hunt, it was like, I don't even feel it. Where if I had to slap a credit card down and do it today for the whole shot, you'd be like, I'll pass. That's a lot.
Yeah. Yeah.
So just plan it right. Take your time, save your pennies, and you and your 4 buddies go do it. It's ridiculous.
Well, I want to, and I do like you. I budget for hunts. When I go, I'll budget, a couple years in advance, especially something expensive. And I don't do crazy expensive anyway. But now let me ask you this, because I got a lot of buddies that go from here to Argentina and hunt, especially in the old business, all these guys that do that and tell me about it. The ammo cost is some of them that, like, say your hunt cost $2,300, you'll spend like 1,000 in ammo or something. Is that accurate? Okay.
Yeah, that's accurate. So it was Kevin, my brother, and I shot 28 gauge over unders, which was smart decision because you're not going tung, 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 right? It's just boom or boom, boom, reload. So that was part of what helped us. Plus I always shoot an over and under. So that's just me. Right. But it was $23 a box. So twice as much what we would maybe pay here. Yeah. And I think it was $1,600 in ammo for me and Kevin.
Okay.
I think, which is a ton of money. I get it.
Yeah.
But when you really break it down in the entire experience and you have saved for it, I don't want to stop after 100 rounds because you'd be done in 30 minutes. But I also knew that Kevin and I, like, there was a time, my brother's calling me right now, but anywho, so speak of the devil, we did say, we don't need to be like everybody else, depending on what they want to do. We don't have to be like everybody else. Just be in your comfort zone. So one morning we were laying them down. I mean, mowing them. And it's like 11 a.m. And man, at 10:30, we kind of both looked at each other. It's like, you shoot, then I shoot, then you shoot, then I shoot. And we had more fun in that hour of just like taking turns and busting chops and, doing trick shots where one-handed,
yeah,
that was more fun slowing down and doing it that way than just boom, 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 boom. And so you can make it as expensive as you want with that regard, or you can be medium responsible and walk away with not too bad of a bill.
Okay. Do you feel like that it improved your shooting after shooting that much?
I guess we'll see this duck season and grouse season, but
I've heard people say that they felt like when they left there, they were a better shooter.
Yeah. I think just, listen, I'm from New York. We're not allowed to shoot doves. So when I do get to go dove hunting, there's always that little bit of, reading the situation. Are they in range or not? The doves dip and dive and duck. And then once you get like, that one was too far, or they're not, and you just straight up missed, like you start feeling them out. And I would say it took me and Kevin the first night we shot, a lot of missing. Second day, way, way better. Birds were working better. And so, yeah, we did well. And I think it helps, but I also think you just need to shoot doves. Like if you're a killer dove hunter from North Carolina, South Carolina, Georgia, Alabama, Texas, whatever, you're going to go there and mow them down. But for a New Yorker, like my brother's never even shot at a dove. How do you tell 60 yards and 40 yards? Yeah. They're such a little target and they move at a speed that's like deceiving. And then when you move, they move, and it takes some getting used to no matter who you are. Yes. And second day, hammer time. Third day, hammer time. I mean, it was fun.
Bob, as a trainer, as somebody that's young, maybe up and coming in the Gundog world, and maybe even thinking about doing hunt tests, what is your number one piece of advice that you would give to a newcomer to the business, to the sport?
Oh. Number one piece of advice. Be over-prepared and underwhelmed. That's my biggest piece of advice. I mean, there's 20 others, but biggest piece of advice is have your dog be over-prepared and underwhelmed at the event. So if you're running started or junior, be over-prepared, underwhelmed. You don't want your first dog at a junior test to find its first live flyer that didn't get shot and it's walking around. You don't want its first time at a test where it sees decoys. You don't want it to find its first tall cover and, longer mark at 70 yards to be at a junior test. I think the second portion of that is patience. Way too many people run their dog too much and run their dog too young. And therefore they get really crappy habits and get away with murder and learn the difference between training and testing. So if you're at a master test, that sucker better smack more than just, it's a triple in a blind. Well, it better be able to do long triples and tough blinds and really concepts on water that are difficult intermixed with the marks and not be phased. And then you go to the master test and go, holy cow, that wasn't too bad. So that's my biggest piece of advice.
I love that.
But patience is probably patience. Don't rush it. Enjoy the ride.
I love that, man. That's great. I need to write that stuff down. I'm going to replay that. Second last question. I know I've had you on here a long time. What does Bob Owens look for if you're trying to find a dog that you want to be your next rock star? What kind of breeding, paperwork, background? What do you look at?
Yeah. No, it's a great question. I want to see dogs that I'd want to own. Right. And well, that's kind of a question that you already asked. Right. But it's dogs that I'd want to own. They're great with other dogs. They're friendly. They're fun to train, meaning you open the box up and they're ready to go, not waking them up saying, let's do this. So they have work ethic, determination, grit, guts, a brain in between the ears, team player, looks, coat, health. So I'm on paper, I'm looking at health clearances, parents and grandparents. What do they have? I'm looking at accomplishments that the parents have. So maybe somebody listening to this podcast goes, well, I don't want to run hunt tests, but I just want a badass hunting dog. Well, guess what? Still need to do this research because you might buy that AKC registered lab whose parents and grandparents haven't touched water into, 2 generations. They're couch potatoes, but they're AKC registered. So I want to do a deeper dive on health, on personality, on, looks and intelligence and capability. So if they're Grand Hunter Retriever champions, if they're master hunters, master national hunters, if they're qualified all age, on up to like FCA, FCs for field trials. For the average person, I'm not saying you don't need an FC in there, right? But I think some of the dogs that get bred that hot are real hot and hot to handle. And then some of the Grand Hunter Retriever champions and master hunters are hot and hot to handle. But if you go too low in the caliber of like, oh, it's so mild-mannered, well, now it's mild-mannered when it's 20 degrees out in central New York and I'm trying to go get an old squaw in Lake Ontario and rolling 3-footers, and it won't go. So you got to have that happy medium.
Yeah.
But health clearances, intelligence, parents and grandparents that have accomplished something and not just a junior hunter. It's a great accomplishment. It's not to be belittled, but that is the bare minimum. So I want to see parents and grandparents that have achieved some level of success at the high levels. And, ask questions. When I go and find a stud dog, what's he like in the airing yard? Well, he doesn't ever start fights, but he's not afraid of getting into it. Check that one off. I don't want that dog. I don't want him being your neighborhood dog where other dogs can't come in the yard. I want a normal Labrador that's happy to meet everybody, that wants to play with the kids, go swimming when it's time to swim, and then when it's hammer time, let's go to work. That's what I want.
Yes. Is there a title that you prefer to see on a dog in that breeding?
Yeah, so I'm looking at a bare minimum for me: Master Hunter, Grand Hunter Retriever Champion, Qualified All Age. Those are the three that if they have all three, hell yeah. If they got one of the three, good. But being at a Grand Hunting Retriever Champion, Master Hunter, and Qualified All Age, to me, kind of encompasses this ability to be grand level steadiness, grand level manners, Master National. Like that stuff is extremely difficult, very difficult concepts. And then Qualified All Age, that means on that day, you were the best and baddest mofo in the group. So out of 30 to 60 dogs, you are numero uno.
I like that. I think that's good advice. All right. Bob Owens, everybody check him out. Go to his website. He's got training videos. He's on YouTube. He has a great podcast. Follow him, Bob. Tell everybody where to find you one last time.
Yeah, man. First off, if you've listened this far, I want to just say thank you for tuning in and listening to us jibber jabber. I'm going to do a solid to the Gundog Nation crew. So I have an online course for Force Fetch with other courses coming soon. But for right now, I'm going to hook up anybody who tuned into this and they want to learn Force Fetch themselves. You can find it on my website, the Force Fetch course. But if you use the code GDN20, it'll be 20% off. So cheers to you, and it'll help me help you, or help you, me help you, whatever the case may be. Get your dog Force Fetch so you can take them to the next level. Patreon.com/Lone Duck Outfitters. You know, again, it's that community that helps me help you train your dog, and we have fun doing it. And then if you're on Instagram, it's at Lone Duck. YouTube videos, couple hundred YouTube videos so that you can teach your dog. That's my goal. You know, all these little platforms and even the Patreon where you buy me a beer, all these platforms are here for the listener. They're here. The podcast is all here so that we can help each other get better, expand our sport, meet new people, and have fun doing it. So, dude, I appreciate you having me on. It was a ton of fun. And so to everybody listening, thank you so much.
Bob, thank you so much. And thank you for giving these listeners a discount, man. I truly appreciate that. You have no idea.
Well, I appreciate
all right.
it.
Hey, we'll be on again. This won't be our last one.
Let's do it.
Talk to you later. Hello, this is Kenneth Witt with Gundog Nation, and I'd like to encourage all you listeners and viewers on our YouTube channel to check out patreon.com/Gundog Nation. For $10 a month, you can become a member of our community, and we'll have access to lots of stuff. Mainly, we'll do a monthly forum, an open forum, where you can ask me anything Gundog related, and we'll learn from each other in the community. Should be a lot of fun each month. We will do that. So check it out, patreon.com/Gundog Nation.